How's it going, everybody? Pecan here with our last leaders for set 9 to be announced. We've got our Buggy and Shanks Yonko leader cards, and I'm very excited about it. Our first ever Buggy leader, and of course Shanks to go over as well. Really interesting effects that I think fit very thematically to these characters, and just some interesting things for gameplay wise. Of course, we've gone over the other leaders in the set, and there's been a lot of gameplay mechanics just from these leaders alone. Of course, we don't have any support known for these leaders just yet, so a lot to really theory craft still on the table, because we don't really know how strong these guys are going to be without all their support laid out. We've got a little bit for Blackbeard, and some for the Odyssey, but not a ton yet, not a ton. And of course, we've got these two leaders to go over with their abilities. Buggy is a mono blue 5 life 5k power leader with the type Yonko and Cross Guild, not Buggy Pirates, Cross Guild. So his effect reads: activate main, you may rest 5 Dawn and discard 1 card from your hand. Play up to 1 character with the Cross Guild type from your hand. So no cost restriction. So on 5 Dawn, we can really go crazy depending on what support we get. You know, if there's a 10 cost Cross Guild character out there, that's a pretty good way to cheat out a body. And like I said, thematically, I just think it's very funny because Buggy is such a fail upwards type of character. So the fact that he can rust a smaller amount of Dawn to play out some big body just is very fitting for Buggy's character, and it's really fun to see. Of course, just exciting to see new characters get leader cards like Buggy, a fan favorite, at least one of my favorites. So yeah, again though, because it is such a archetype locked leader to Cross Guild, not even Yonko characters, just Cross Guild that you can cheat out with this effect, really going to just depend on the support. Being that Buggy is just blue and the only blue leader though in the set, we know we can expect a decent chunk of the blue cards to be support for him. So we can probably see some kind of big bodies out. And of course, the entire downside to this effect of discarding 1 from your hand doesn't really matter too much because it's any card. It could be any dead card you have. Blue has a lot of card draw abilities. You know, Sanji's Pilaf, just a ton of things that we can draw from. So not really too much to worry about from that. Again, being entirely new archetype, we're going to have to see how good the support cards are. But again, resting 5 Dawn to play out any character, that's kind of crazy in my opinion. You know, I think the game obviously is going in the ways of cheating out bodies is a really big advantage for tempo and aggression. You know, red, purple law, being able to cheat out 2 bodies, you know, pretty strong leader ability. So the fact that this can cheat out a big 10 cost body much earlier than you should be able to, you know, we talked about like Pudding or Robin even, you know, these purple yellow leaders that are ramping themselves into playing these big bodies that have huge effects. This is just, and that doesn't even require ramp, you know? You're not putting Dawn back for this like the blue Croc leader did. This is just rest the 5 Dawn, play out a character, discard 1. Most likely, because this is the only blue leader that we have, we'll probably see 1 super rare for this archetype come out from the set. I think Calgara was the only leader that was a monocolor for a set and didn't see it like a super rare. Now, of course, if we're just playing at best case scenario, if we're playing a 10 cost character from this effect, we have to contextualize it. You know, decks like red, purple law, probably not going to be able to remove it immediately. Decks, you know, black, you know, Lucci, Gecko, Blackbeard, it's going to take a lot of resources to KO a 10 cost when your opponent, say you're on your 5 Dawn turn and you use this leader ability, play out a 10 cost character. For 6 Dawn, it's going to be a little bit tricky to remove a 10 cost, so that might stick on the board. Depending on what kind of support we see, this could be really good, really interesting. And again, just love it for Buggy. Again, it fits his theme so well. I could be wrong, and I don't know if this is anything with the translation. It doesn't say once per turn. So on our 10 Dawn turn, are we resting 5 twice to play out 2 different 10 costs? Because to play 2 10 costs in 1 turn, that is, I think, the most outlandish thing we could do to be Dawn efficient. Of course, our leader will just be swinging 5 down for the turn, but instead of swinging 2 10-cost bodies, depending on what they are, like that is just insane. Also, this character that we're playing out from effect doesn't come in rested. Like, to compare it and give more context, the blue Doflamingo leader, the cards that you cheat out by looking at the top card of your deck, and if it's a 7 Warlords, cost 4 or less, you play it rested. This plays it active. So not only are we cheating out bigger bodies quicker, but it's playing it out active. So not going to be easy to just swing into or move again. So yeah, let me know if you're excited for Buggy. I know a lot of people saw this leader, and we knew that it was coming because this set was the Yonkos, the Emperors, and we had 2 more Emperors to get through. But again, very excited to see Buggy get a leader card finally, and I hope it's a lot of fun. I just hope the support is decent and we can finally see Buggy in action. But we've got another leader, Shanks, mono red, 5 life, 5k power. So Shanks is Yonko and Red Hair Pirates. Very interested to see what kind of support we get for this archetype, just because of the fact that I think the Red Hair Pirates are still a little bit mysterious. You know, if we're talking about just in terms of story, I think they've got a lot yet to show in terms of what they can do and what they're about. So interested to see what cards we kind of get. But his effect is once per turn. You may activate this effect when your opponent attacks. Give up to one of your opponent's leaders or characters power minus 1000 for the turn. So for the entire turn, not just for the battle. So if it's a thing that can restand itself, like the green Uta leader with I'm Invincible, or the 9-cost green Zoro, things like that, this effect lasts for the entire turn. And again, very interesting to see for Shanks. You know, he's got insane observation hockey. You know, not going to say names, but, you know, minor spoilers. If you know who he fights, that's it's an interesting power, and it matches up quite well. But again, I think it's an interesting power for red specifically. We see a lot of red, you know, rush, aggro, very aggressive, just laying your bodies out, going sideways with them. And then it takes a lot to defend them. You know, your bodies are pretty much always going to be sideways, so your opponent can just swing into it their following turn. So it's going to take a lot of counter out of your hands to defend your board, because once your board's gone, there goes all of your pressure. And we saw that, you know, with Zoro playing out these little bodies, but people just swing back into them. And yeah, sure, you can play out a ton of them, but defending them is much harder. With this, it gives you immediately no downside. You don't have to discard a card or anything like that. Just, you can save any of your 5-cost bodies or a leader swing from a 5k swing by just activating effect, you know, turning their 5k swing into a 4k swing, and then boom. These do seem a little bit less groundbreaking, in my opinion, than some of the other leaders we've seen. You know, our Odyssey leader having things come out rested, you know, Blackbeard negating the on-play effects was just a huge category in this game. You know, I always say that a few of the things that are super strong in this game are on play and cheating out bodies, and we've got cheating out bodies from Buggy, which is good to see. But this just seems like it's just a defensive ability. Now, of course, Shanks isn't leader locked with his ability. It doesn't specify that the character that you protect in battle is a Red Hair Pirates or not. It just says character. But just to go over it, like, Shanks does have a couple of Red Hair Pirates type, like just a vanilla, but the 10-drop Shanks, the 9-drop Rush, it does have Red Hair Pirates. So if we get a searcher from this archetype, obviously these are a couple of cards that we can possibly search out. You know, the fact that his leader ability doesn't require any Don either means that we can play out the 10 cost, KO something, and then protect our leader still, you know, leaving no Don up, but we can still protect ourselves a little bit. It makes it a little bit easier to want to play out a 10 drop. But real quick, like I said for Buggy, since this is our only red leader for the set, if we see a super rare for red, it'll probably be for this archetype. Yeah, I don't know if these leaders, Buggy or Shanks, are going to take the meta spot for their respective colors. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But again, as a fan of these characters, I'm definitely excited to check them out regardless. But let me know what you think down in the comments. If you're excited for any of the leaders in set 9, let me know. I want to hear it. Your thoughts, theories, what you hope to see for support for these characters. And of course, I'll be going over support cards for set 9 as they come out. So make sure to subscribe again, and I will see you all in set 9. Thank you, and bye-bye.